It is WWE SummerSlam 2011. We've just seen Wade Barrett defeat Daniel Bryan, and this match was very evenly paced. Everyone got their little bit in there. Daniel Bryan again pulling out all that submission that usually comes with a Daniel Bryan match. I think a bit of a renewed confidence seen in Daniel Bryan tonight. He certainly seemed to show the aggression in the face, and Barrett, a good counter for that. A fantastic heel in Barrett, and somebody who really needs to get a full-on heel push. Maybe this is the beginning of something here, but ultimately a great match. Well, great. I'd go again on 3 out of 5 actually.
Yeah, I had higher hopes for this one. Although in the back of my head, I knew there was only so much Wade could do. And in fairness to him, I know he can walk the walk. I didn't think he could talk. Or sorry, I said that backwards. He can talk the talk, but I didn't think he could walk the walk. That's what I meant to say. With good old D. Bryan, he put him under pressure. I will say D. Bryan, from the get-go. Wade had his work cut out, but a surprising victory for Wade Barrett here tonight. I think he probably needs the push more than D. Bryan needs it, and D. Bryan, of course, will be safe that he still has that Money in the Bank briefcase, and he can have his match at WrestleMania if he needs to, or he can cash it in at an opportune time. For Wade Barrett, it's a big night here in Los Angeles. What will the future hold for the former Nexus leader? God only knows, but he sure is on the right path with a victory over D. Bryan here tonight.
Absolutely, plenty of great action to come, but good action in that one. Not incredible. Some people in the chat room mentioned that it was almost like a Raw match that they just saw. SB 103, Wade Barrett, no effort during that match. Come on, it's SummerSlam. Filibuster, that was a pretty good match, and Captain Charisma is here with us as well, asking what happened. It was a very kind of a quick finish. We certainly had to look twice here to be sure that it was Barrett who went over. So maybe the ref called that at some kind of inopportune moment where they had to say, right, we got to cut this, we got to finish it, the finish has to come now. Maybe it came from the back and they said, cut it, do it, and get it over with. As for Barrett, people were right to say that it was like a TV match, because there were elements of that kind of slow-paced, methodical kind of work going on. That's always good as well, at certain times, but perhaps not after we've seen what we've seen in the order of running so far with SummerSlam, the musical performance to the Divas match to this one, but ultimately they had a tough spot to fill, because it was time to, I suppose, wake up some of the viewership who perhaps had tuned out a while back. But I would say, as I say, good average match, and typical WWE stuff really.
Yeah, there was nothing really too, I suppose nothing really at stake for the most part in this one. It was just a small little feud that gathered a bit of momentum very, very quickly. So I'd say something if it was a kind of a long-term thing. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. I don't think there's any need for it to be. And Wade did what he needed to do to be taken somewhat seriously. And a victory over D. Bryan, that's a good thing to have on his resume going forward. So let's see how the future will pan out for old Wade.
Certainly for both those guys, it was an opportune moment to impress. Barrett typically on pay-per-views hasn't, I think, done his best work. He's done a lot better in TV matches. Have these guys done enough to lift their status in the eyes of the office? Have they changed perceptions? We talked about stories about, Daniel Bryan and what stuff has been said to him backstage in recent times, and I think a lot of people may be buying the Cole angle on Bryan, that he is just a geek, but I think tonight's showing a bit more than that. I don't think he's the guy who came out on top here. I think Barrett showed a kind of an improving worker as he's sort of built over time, and I would go firmly on Barrett here. I would say he's done very well. I'd say man of that match in this case. So more matches to come, and now we're looking at Christian v Randy Orton being built. We're watching this live on justin.tv/Wrestledope Radio, and streaming our thoughts there to people watching live.